Tonight on our program, Inequality of Access. President Akufo-Addo slams omission of COVID shield from the EU travel pass vaccine list, saying it is a retrogressive step.
What is intriguing is the fact that this vaccine was donated to African countries through the COVAX facility. The use of vaccines as a tool for immigration control will be a truly retrogressive step.
Also coming up, government chart to consider provision of social housing schemes to address surge in housing deficit in Accra as exposed by latest population and housing census.
You are saying that there's a deficit, as Allah said, is a 1.7 million houses. And where is the money to produce 1.7 million houses? Assuming that we are doing 200,000 per year. 200,000 houses per year at the price of cost price.
And tonight we meet the farmer promoting consumption of rabbit meat.
Reading about rabbits, I realized that one rabbit was just equivalent to one cow. You know, and meanwhile, that one rabbit needs very small space, an average of 7.5 square feet. Then can produce enough meat you'll get at the end of the year from one cow.
More on how lucrative rabbit farming is coming up. Welcome once again to Business Live. Details after this.
Hello, my name is Nathaniel Atto. You can catch up with all the fun and inspiration on the Joy Sports link here on Joy 99.7 FM, together with all other shows over and over again. It's very simple. All you need to do is go to myjoyonline.com/podcast and relive all of those fun moments over and over again. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
My name is Darryl Carr. Thanks for being with us tonight on Business Live. President Akufo-Addo has slammed moves by some countries in Europe not to recognize Covishield, the Indian version of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Addressing the UN General Assembly, the president accused those countries, which he did not name, of using the non-recognition of Covishield as an anti-immigration device. He said it was a retrogressive step. Now, Covishield does not appear on the list of acceptable vaccines of some countries like Germany and Italy, whilst AstraZeneca does. The European Medicines Agency, which is an agency for evaluating and monitoring vaccines, does not list Covishield either. Listen to President Akufo-Addo.
The latest numbers from the African Development Bank indicate that African economies, which contracted by 2.1% in 2020, are yet to return to pre-pandemic levels. More than 30 million Africans fell into extreme poverty in 2020, and nearly 40 million could do so in 2021. The social impact has been devastating. Over 103 million African jobs have been lost. Women, who account for 40% of total employment, have been most hard hit. Mr. President, we're listening to the scientists. It is evident that vaccination is the way to protect populations and revitalize societies. To vaccinate 70% in the shortest possible time, as is being done elsewhere in the world, means some 900 million Africans have to be vaccinated. The Afro-Exim Bank structuring of the Africa Vaccine Acquisition Task Force $2 billion acquisition of 400 million Johnson & Johnson vaccines is part of the historic African Union's COVID-19 vaccine development and access strategy. It is a critical milestone in our collective fight against the pandemic, in a continent suffering the worst brunt of vaccine nationalism. The Africa Vaccine Acquisition Task Force vaccine program, partly manufactured in South Africa, is the single largest and most far-reaching trade transaction since the entry into force of the African Continental Free Trade Area in January this year. It is eloquent testimony to the benefits of domestic production and pooled procurement in Africa as envisaged by the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. Ghana agrees with the call of the Rome Declaration of Global Health for voluntary licensing and technology transfers to boost vaccine production. The African Union is working with WHO, WTO, and other global partners to expand its vaccine manufacturing and deployment. We in Ghana have so far received 5 million doses, which have been administered to frontline health workers and those classified as being most at risk. 5 million is not a figure to be sneered at, particularly when we consider the situation in many other African countries. We're grateful that our efforts in the management of the pandemic and vaccine distribution have been recognized, and we have received these amounts so far. We're still hoping to vaccinate 20 million of our people by the end of the year. One unfortunate development appears to be the recent measures on entry into some countries in Europe, which suggests that Covishield, the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine manufactured in India, is not recognized by these countries. What is intriguing is the fact that this vaccine was donated to African countries through the COVAX facility. The use of vaccines as a tool for immigration control will be a truly retrogressive step. Mr. President, the last time there was such an upheaval in the world was during the Second World War, which led to the establishment of a new world order. This organization, the United Nations, and the other Bretton Woods institutions were created to maintain international peace and security.
So the president making the point about Covishield and how apparently European countries are not accepting that vaccine. Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo has met with U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris at the site of the UN General Assembly. Now, the president entreated the U.S. to fast-track the distribution of vaccines to Ghana and the rest of the continent.
Our commitments are very much the same commitments as you have. We want to develop our nation as a democracy, as a country where freedom and the respect for human rights and the rule of law are paramount to our system of governance. Our big challenge, and it is the challenge of all those who want to develop democratic institutions on our continent, is to ensure and reassure our people that democratic institutions can be a vehicle for the resolution of their big problem, that is economic development as the means to eradicate poverty on the continent. So that's the investment that we have made, and it is an investment that you have been very supportive of, and we continue to appreciate your support. We've had some difficult times in the country recently because of the COVID, like everybody else has had. Mercifully, its impact on us has been not as originally anticipated. It has been more mild than it has. Part of it is the work that the government did, and the others is the general environment in which the disease is working on the continent. We're grateful for the support that the United States government has given us in trying to deal with the virus, the COVAX facility, which America has been very strongly participant, and the support that we've had through the donation of the 1.2 million doses of the Moderna and the promise you've made that more is on the way. Yeah. Our target is to try and vaccinate at least 20 million of our people by the end of this year. The Ghanaian population is some 30 million odd, and I think if we can achieve that, we will then be more confident about defeating the virus.
While the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris pledged her country's resolve to deepen bilateral ties with Ghana amid the pandemic.
We have deep and historical ties. Our official bilateral relationship began in 1957, but of course there are longer and longer-standing ties that connect the people of our nations. Over the years, many Americans have traveled to Ghana to remember the history of slavery and to honor their roots and understand their ancestry. And the African diaspora in the United States, including my home state of California, is significant, and our nation is stronger for it. We, these two nations, share a commitment to democracy. Last December, the people of Ghana voted in a free and fair election that demonstrated your nation's commitment to democratic principles and institutions. We share a view that all people must have a voice in their future, that our democracies are stronger when everyone participates and weaker when anyone is left out.
While in other news tonight, government has been charged to consider providing more social and heavily subsidized housing schemes to deal with the surge in housing deficit here in the capital, Accra. The latest population and housing census reveals serious housing deficit, a situation that has been fueled by spike in migration to the capital. Now, speaking on PM Express Business Edition, chairman of real estate firm Comet, Nana Odeneho Tramanting, said this could help deal with the situation.
$300 per square meter as a basic affordable for a living area. It's basic, it's standard. You can't change it. The only problem is how much you earn and what you use it for. That is the headache now. That is the calculation we have to sit down and then we have to resolve. Because everybody buys cement internationally. We buy louvers, we buy aluminium products. They are standard. You cannot reduce it. We are in a global world. From the perestroika, globalization has become part of it. So now you cannot talk about anything. You talk about global economy. Formerly, those days when we were small, but you just go and listen to BBC when they are playing football and all that. Today, you look at it and it's being played in Europe. So if you sit down, your gaffer is collapsing, you are weeping. Because they are also going to look for games over there.
But then I was trying to get your thoughts on this whole idea about getting access to long-term funds. There is talk about how we can now rely on the pension fund.
The pension fund is small.
Is it feasible?
It's feasible, but it's small.
It's not enough.
It's not enough because you are saying that there's a deficit. As Allah said, they say 1.7 million houses. And where is the money to produce 1.7 million houses? Assuming that we are doing 200,000 per year. 200,000 houses per year at a price of, cost price of about $300 for 100 square meter property. It means you need a $30,000 per 2-bedroom, which I'm talking about, times 200,000. That's equivalent of how much? About 6 billion or so, or about 600.
Right.
Yeah. And then how are you going to raise it? Are we going to put it on cement? Are you going to? I don't believe that we need to even go into the taxes. We can go back and see how we raise the pension fund. But the pension funds are only 1.5 million people who are contributing to the pension fund. Among them, almost 30% of it are teachers. How much do teachers earn?
And you're watching Business Live. Still to come, we meet the farmer promoting consumption of rabbit's meat.
One cow, and meanwhile, that one rabbit needs very small space, an average of 7.5 square feet, that can produce enough meat you'll get at the end of the year from one cow.
Hello, my name is Nathaniel Atto. You can catch up with all the fun and inspiration on the Joy Sports link here on Joy 99.7 FM, together with all other shows over and over again. It's very simple. All you need to do is go to myjoyonline.com/podcast and relive all of those fun moments over and over again. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
Hello, welcome back to Business Live. Now, this will excite you. Raising rabbits can be a great income source to the unemployed, educated or not. Now, rabbit production is relatively ideal for developing countries as it requires minimum capital and space to start. Well, today, Emma Davis engages Adote Brown, who has been rearing rabbits for 19 years. Here's her story.
After reading about rabbits, I realized that one rabbit was just equivalent to one cow. You know, and meanwhile, that one rabbit needs very small space, an average of 7.5 square feet, that can produce enough meat you'll get at the end of the year from one cow.
Wow.
So it's easier and smaller to start a rabbit farm than to think of it. And besides, I've always been passionate about rabbits.
Rabbits are prolific breeders, producing large quantities of healthy and tasty meat. Their rate of production is faster than that of pigs, goats, or sheep. If properly raised and cared for, a female rabbit can produce more than 15 times her own weight in a year. Take a listen to Adote Brown, who quit public service to become a rabbit farmer and migrated from a backyard farm to a 30-doe unit in a year.
My name is Adote Brown. 19 years ago, I was with the public service, with the project, and I decided to resign. So 19 years ago, I resigned from the public service and decided to go solo with rabbits. So I started my rabbit farm. I started with 3 females and a male. So this cage here is already 19 years, and I built it myself. My first batch of offsprings I got from the 3 females were 21. I sold all the 21 that came up and then reinvested in another cage. So I was just going through that cycle and I built enough cages. So I moved, within a year, I was able to migrate from a backyard operation of a 3-door unit to a 30-door unit.
Did you know rabbits are nocturnal and live up to 10 years? But Farmer Brown, as he is affectionately called, tells me they have a production span of 3 years. According to him, he prefers New Zealand and Californian breeds due to their ability to produce more.
General lifespan?
General lifespan.
Well, it's what I have seen, I've kept 10 years. But the productive lifespan, 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I see that these ones here, most of them have red eyes.
Yes.
And some have black eyes, right?
Yes.
What is the difference?
Now, let's start with the red-eyed ones. The red-eyed rabbits are basically the New Zealand white and the California.
Okay.
Now, my purpose, my objective of going into rabbit production is to produce rabbit meat. So I have to use the best breeds that will give me rabbit meat in the shortest possible time.
Rabbit farming barely requires huge capital and space. Farmer Brown indicated that the only challenge in this field is labor. He further called on government to adopt the National Rabbit Project implemented by General Kutu Echampong in 1975.
Money has not been a major challenge because with rabbits, if you are doing it well, definitely within the week somebody will come and buy rabbits. So money to buy feed for them, money for yourself, you definitely will get it. Rearing for food and job, that's a good concept. You see, but the focus has been on pork, poultry, beef, sheep, goat, that kind of thing. But there's a golden opportunity if people are given some, what I'll call seed money, they can easily go into. Now, let's go back to 1972, 72, 75. Under that Operation Feed Yourself concept, there was a national rabbit project. By the then government of Ghana under General Kutu Echampong. The project was around Kwabenya. Apparently, the barns they built then for rabbits have become schools for private people and churches So they set up this national rabbit project to train people, help people eat rabbit and market rabbit. It was a whole huge project. After the overthrow of the government, General Champon, Ghana, everything has sunk. But the documents are there for our people to, they should research, they should find out. People are there, people who worked at the then National Rabbit Project. Some are still alive. Let's talk to them. Let's see what it was. And then the government should look at
some rabbit meat for the weekend wouldn't be a bad idea, would it? Well, as we conclude tonight, even though Ghana's economy has been heavily dependent on cocoa for the past 130 years, not much has been done for the processing and value addition of the commodity. The Ghana Export Promotion Authority is confident of dealing with the deficit through the maiden edition of the African Cocoa and Chocolate Expo. Dr. Ifwa Sabiasare is Chief Executive.
Cocoa is a leading export product of Ghana and has sustained the economy for more than 100 years. Sadly, we have not done enough as a country to add value to this valuable crop, which is proudly referred to in the past as the food of the gods. We also know the passion with which His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has on several occasions drawn attention to the need to add more value to our cocoa to increase export revenue. I am happy to report that the maiden edition of the ACCE has largely achieved its primary objective, thanks to the effective collaboration of our key partner, the Know Your Cocoa Foundation. Let me use the occasion, therefore, to commend Nana Eduna II for his fortitude and singular dedication to the promotion of cocoa value chain and his passion to drive the value chain agenda. We have once again carefully chosen the theme for this second edition of the ACC 21.
And that's Business Live tonight. Thanks for watching, everyone. There's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl Kwao. Enjoy your weekend.